I found it very interesting that Now Magazine, Toronto's unofficial manifesto for social justice warriors and radical leftists, recently anointed Black Lives Matter as Toronto's #1 local hero for, quote, making the world a better place in 2016, end quote. The magazine noted the following, quote, along the way, Black Lives Matter organized and inspired a new wave of diverse and youth-driven activists, shook the city's conscience on policing, and dared anyone to deny that Black lives have been and continue to be devalued and, in some cases, eliminated by the state, end quote. Now, that last factoid is especially eyebrow-raising given that black-on-black violence overwhelmingly trounces the number of blacks killed by members of law enforcement. But then again, Now Magazine seldom lets the facts get in the way of a good yarn. And the fact is that Black Lives Matter isn't heroic. Black Lives Matter is a racist, vindictive, and disruptive group of agitators who specialize in hijacking events ranging from tuition fee protests to the Gay Pride Parade, all in an effort to publicize their radicalized and race-driven agenda. However, I do wholeheartedly agree with Now Magazine that racism directed towards black people is indeed a heinous thing and should be eliminated. I'm sure most reasonable people are on side with that. So riddle me this. Why is it that the most egregious example of racism against blacks in Toronto these days is being committed by, drum roll please, Now Magazine? Now, by way of explanation, Now Magazine makes a small fortune on its back page classified advertising, specifically ads for adult entertainers, code speak for escorts and other sex trade workers. But dozens upon dozens of Now's website ads specifically state no black men. It's right there in writing. It's not a matter of blacks go to the back of the bus, but rather blacks get the hell off the bus. I reached out to Alice Klein, the editor and publisher of Now Magazine. I wanted to know why such blatant racial discrimination is being perpetrated by Now Magazine. Klein began to verbally answer, but stopped herself in mid-sentence, requesting we do the interview via email. Fine by me. So I sent her the following query, quote, why is it that Now Magazine accepts literally dozens of advertisements from adult entertainers who specifically state in their ads, no black men? Given that your magazine recently proclaimed that Black Lives Matter is Toronto's #1 local hero that made a difference, it seems odd that your publication would accept ads that specifically discriminate and exclude black people from receiving certain services. As well, is there a reason given as to why these advertisers are discriminating against black people, end quote. Klein's reply was as follows, quote, race-based ads are against our policy. Monitoring to prevent them online is an ongoing problem we continue to work on, end quote. Well, folks, my follow-up question was the following. Can you shed more details on how you monitor race-based ads, and can you tell me how many race-based ads have been removed in the past? And Klein's answer? No comment. Oh, by the way, at time of writing, there were more than 100 back-page classified website ads stating no black men. So it looks as though the racism monitors at Now Magazine are still on Christmas vacation, or maybe they're purposely turning a blind eye when it comes to weeding out racism, given that would be bad for the bottom line. So in summary, according to Now Magazine, racism against black people is bad, except if racism against black people bolsters the magazine's ad revenue, because in that case, the folks at Now will simply hold their collective noses and take those racist dollars because, hey, business is business. How hypocritical, how pathetic, and how typical of the left to embrace yet again another double standard. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Like what you just saw? Then click subscribe below and never miss another Rebel video.